Hello everyone, welcome to Aptitude Jab. This is the second part of CAT 2025 Slot 1 Quant section. So here's the question. It says the number of non-negative integer values of k for which the quadratic equation x square minus 5x plus k equal to 0 has only integer roots is. Now, quadratic equation is a very important chapter. It always asks questions related to nature of roots. So first of all, we must know that the roots of a quadratic equation are minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac, which you call as d upon 2a. Right? Now plugging in the values over here. So we get b is minus 5 here. So it becomes 5 plus minus b square minus 4ac. So this is 25 minus 4k upon 2a. A is 1. Right now, the thing is we need to find non-negative integer values of k. Now, pay attention to each of the words instead of making all possibilities. Just solve it using the conditions. Now, first thing first is it should have integer roots. So that means this should be like if we are dividing a number by 2, this means the numerator part should be even. Numerator part should be even. Now, if this is odd and we have to add or subtract a number, that means this part should be an odd number, because odd plus odd, instead of taking random possibilities, we must solve it logically. Odd plus odd or odd minus odd is always an even number. Okay, so keeping this thing in mind, this part should be odd. So basically 25 minus 4k, root of this should be an odd number. Okay, so if this is an odd number, root is an odd number, the square should also be an odd number, right? Now we need to find non-negative integer values of k. So that means non-negative integer values means 0 or positive values, right? So we must start with 0, okay, and not take all values 0 and above. That is what it means, 0 and positive values. So we will look at 0. So when we take 0, so k equal to 0, then 25 is a square number, right? So that works. Now no need to take all values. Let's see if this is an odd number. So we should look at square numbers which are less than 25, because if k will increase, right, the number will decrease, right? So we need to see square numbers less than 25, and we need to look at odd numbers. So let us look at 9 and 1, right? So if for to make it equal to 9, we need 4k is equal to 16 or k is equal to 4. And to make it 1, that means 4k is equal to 24 or k is equal to 6. We cannot go beyond this. So it has three solutions, 0, 4 and 6. So the number of solutions is 3. A value of c for which the minimum value of fx is greater than the maximum value of gx is. Now, whenever you are given a quadratic equation, right, quadratic expression, and you need to find the minimum and maximum. First, understand that if a function is in the format of like this, wherein the coefficient is positive coefficient, the graph is always going to be like this, and it will have a minimum point. In this case, if you see the coefficient is negative, so the graph is always going to be like this, and it will have a maximum value, right? Now, whether it is a minima based question or maxima based question of a quadratic expression, it happens at minus b upon 2a, x equal to minus b upon 2a. So this property you need to remember, that will make your solution easy. You do not have to complete the squares and all. If you remember this property, because it is derived from that property itself, so if you remember this property, it makes your life simple. So first of all, we will put minus b upon 2a over here. So the first equation, it is minus b, that is minus 4c, and minus, if we take it, plus upon 2a, so that becomes 2c. So it will happen at 2c. We will put x equal to 2c, and in this case it will happen at minus 3c, because it is minus b. So b coefficient of this x is plus 3c. So minus 3c by minus 2 because a is minus 1 here. So that is c is equal to 3c by 2. Now we will just equate it. So minimum value is greater than this maximum value. So put x equal to 2c. So 2c whole square minus 4c into 2c plus 8c should be greater than the other value, that is minus of x square. So minus of x is 3c by 2 whole square plus 3c into 3c by 2 minus 2c. So just simplifying it, this will be 4c square minus 8c square. So minus 4c square plus 8c is greater than, this will become 9 minus 9c square by 4 plus this will be 9c square by 2, and this is minus 2c. So let us bring all terms on one side. Okay, so if we bring all the terms on one side, it becomes, or to make things simple, let us put it minus 2.25 c square plus 0.4.5 c square. I personally find solving decimals easier than fractions, so that is why I did this, right? So minus 4c square, and this is 2.5. So we can bring all these terms this side. So this is 4.5 minus 4 is 0.5, and this is 8.5 minus 2.25. So that is 6.25 c square, and we take it this side, minus 10c is less than 0. Okay, so we took all the terms this side and put 0 this side. Okay, so taking all these terms on the left hand side this side, we get this relation. Now what we can do is we can simplify. So we can take out the common factor also. We have 1.25 c is common, and it becomes 5c minus 8 is less than 0. So we get c, the critical values, as c equal to 0 and c is equal to 8 by 5. Now whenever we have a quadratic equation, right, if we have the quadratic equation with positive coefficient, always remember this: at the roots the value is 0, right? Between the roots the value is negative, and beyond the roots the value is positive. Now we are considering a negative value, right? We are saying that it is less than 0. Okay, so it should be between the roots. So it should be, that means the value of c should be between 0 and 8.8 by 5, which is 1.6. So among the options there is only one option, one value which lies between 0 and 1.6. So that is the answer to this question. Next question. A container holds 200 liters of a solution of acid and water having 30% acid by volume. Atul replaces 20% of the solution with water, then replaces 10% of the resulting solution with acid, and finally replaces 15% of the solution thus obtained with water. The percentage of acid by volume in the final solution obtained after these three replacements is nearest to. Now, even if this 200 liter is not known to us, we can find the percentage because it is asking the percentage. So this is not needed. Now understand one thing. Whenever we replace certain thing, let us say we are replacing acid by, so it is saying that Atul replaces 20% of the solution with water. So we are replacing with water. So we can find the percentage of acid, right? So the percentage of acid, let us say final percentage of acid is equal to initial percentage, right, into 1 minus y by x, or basically the portion that is being replaced. Okay, so this is like final acid initial into 1 minus y by x. If y by x means the part that is being replaced upon the total part, or if you are given the portion, you can multiply that, right? Now we can calculate, apply this formula to find the percentages. Now in the first stage we are given that 30% acid and water is 70%, right? Now in the first scenario, what is he doing? First scenario, he is replacing with water. So that means we'll have to calculate the acid. So acid after first transaction is 30 was the initial part, right? And now we will do 20% is being replaced. 1 minus 20%, that means 0.2 right? 20% is 0.2, that is 24%. So acid becomes 24, water will be 76. Now in the second transaction, he is replacing 10% of solution with acid. So that means we will calculate water in this scenario. So water after the second transaction, water was 76 here, 76 into 1 minus 0.1 or 90% because we are replacing 10%. So subtract that percentages, right? So that is 90%. So 76 into 9 is how much? So a quick way to do it, even if you do not know the tables, you can use divisibility rules to find the product with 9, right? So what we can do is 7 into 6 is 4, right? And 7 into 9 is 63. So we will have something in 60s. Divisibility rule 10, we need to make 18 to make it divisible by 9. So we can use this technique, or like you can multiply individually and add also. So just telling that how I multiply things. So 68.4, right? So that is water. So how much acid will be there? Acid will be 31.2. Now, in the third scenario, he is replacing 15% with water. So we will calculate acid in this scenario. So whatever the substance is being replaced, we calculate that. Like for example, in the first scenario, he is putting water. So we will calculate acid. In the second scenario, he is replacing with acid. So we calculated water. In the third scenario, we will again calculate acid. Acid is 31.2 and he is replacing 15%. So 1 minus 0.5, or you can say 85% of this. Right? This is 85%. Now we will just use approximation because he's saying that it is nearest to. So we are finding approximate. So 31, we have to subtract 15%, right? So 1% is 3, 15% will be somewhere 4.5, right? So if you take 30 and 15%, you will say 4.5. So it is close to somewhere around 4.5. So we will subtract 4.5, we will get 27. Now for this we will have to subtract, like it will be 26 point something. It is not exact, but we need to approximate. So 15%, if you do 15% will be somewhere around 4.5. So that you subtract, you will get 20. Like if you subtract 31.2 minus 4.5, you will get 26.7, which is round off to 27. So this is the rough approximation you need to do because the question itself is asking nearest to. The next question, Shruti travels a distance of 224 km in 4 parts for a total travel time of 3 hours. Her speeds in these 4 parts follow an arithmetic progression. So speeds follow arithmetic progression, and corresponding time taken to cover these 4 parts follow another arithmetic progression. So time taken is also another arithmetic progression. If she travels at the speed of 960 meter per minute for 30 minutes to cover the first part, then the distance in meters she traveled in the fourth part is. So she did in 4 different parts. Now we know that distance is the product of speed into time, right? So we have to multiply speed and time to get the distance, right? Now we are given that these are in arithmetic progressions. This is an AP. This is also an AP. Time is also an AP. And the total time is 3 hours. So total time is 180 minutes. Now, speed is following an arithmetic progression. And the speed, the first part is 960 meter per minute. So speed in the first part is 960. So let us put 960 plus A, 960 plus 2A, 960 plus 3A. We do not know, we cannot add the speeds. Remember, we cannot add the speeds. We have to add the distance. So that is 224 kilometers. Since this is given in meters and this is in minutes, because we are given the speeds in meter per minute, right? And we are given the time in minutes only. So let us find the distance in meters. So 224,000. Now time is 30 and we have to generate an arithmetic progression. Now some people, what they do is they will actually calculate, they will put 30 plus t, 30 plus 2t and then solve, right? Instead of that, remember that average of AP is equal to middle term. Or there are certain things to remember in this. Average of AP is middle term, or you can say that average of first and last term, which turns out to be the same thing, average of second last, because AP is second and second last term. Okay, and so on, because AP is symmetrical. Now if it is symmetrical, average turns out to be 45, because there are four values, 1 2 3 4. 45 is the average, that means this is 60. So we can, like, instead of making equations, if you think numerically and understand this concept of average of AP, it will be faster for you to do it instead of writing equations every time. Okay, so no need to write. This is how you solve faster, because other things you will have to solve. Now we need to multiply these and add. So we will multiply these and add these to get the value of 224000. Now a smart way to do is, do not multiply everything separately. Now see this, 960 is being multiplied by 30, 960 multiplied by 40, 960 by 50, 960 by 60, and we are adding them. Remember, we used to do this thing in the school, that 960 into 30. So those are some basic concepts which were taught in school. Now unfortunately you solve them separately and take time to do them. Now this is how we used to do. So we will take 960 common and add 30 plus 40 plus 50 plus 60. Okay, so do this thing. No need to write, I'm just writing to explain. So no need to multiply individually. So simply multiply 960 into 180, plus we have 40A, and this is 100A, and this is 180A. Okay, 180 plus 100, 280 plus 40, 320A. This is equal to 224000. So there are two zeros over here, and we have 96 into 18. 18 into 100 is 1800, right? 18 into 4 is 72. Subtract that, because it is 96 is 100 minus 4. So that gives us 1728. So we'll get 512,000, that is 328. So A will be equal to 6. 32 into 16 is 512. So A is 160. Now the question is asking, she travels in the fourth part, right? So 160, that is 160 into 3 is 480. That is 1440 into 60. 144 into 6 will be 86,400 meters. Okay, so that was the solution to this question. Next question, the ratio of the number of students in the morning shift and afternoon shift of a school was 13:9. After 21 students moved from the morning shift to the afternoon shift, this ratio became 19:14. So suppose the numbers are 13x and 9x. Now 21 get removed and they get added to this, because morning, this is morning and this is evening. Because we are removing students, so they will get added here. This ratio becomes 19:14. Okay. Now we will cross multiply, so you will get 182x minus. Okay, another important thing to execute here is, like, we often do cross multiplication, which is good, right? Try to use some mental techniques. How to use mental techniques is, see, we are ultimately going to multiply these two, like 9 into 19 and 13 into 14, right? And this is a positive number, this is also a positive number, so you will get 182. This is a step saving technique, because the lesser you write, the more time you have to think and solve questions. So you should try to use mental techniques. Now this is 182 and this is 171. What is the difference? 11. If you are able to calculate the difference in your head, great. 11x. Now if you see this, this is 21 into 14, no need to multiply. This is 21 into 19. So I'll do it stepwise here, but like with practice, you can start skipping steps. So what we did here is 182x minus, do not multiply because this number is common. So we will use that technique here, like we did in the previous question also. 19 into 9 is 171x, and this is 21 into 19. Most students make this mistake. They will calculate the values, which will consume time. So try to use the property of multiplication and addition, right? Like we did in this case, right? We did not multiply separately, we added them. So same thing we are going to apply here. So we get 11x, 21 into 14 and 21 into 19. So when it goes this side, we will add that. So it becomes 21 into 19 plus 14. This is 14 and this is 19. So it becomes 21 into 33. So x becomes 63. So it will be a slight time saving tick. Maybe you say 5-10 seconds in this process. And cumulatively, if you keep saving time in every question, you have that extra time to solve more questions in the exam. Actually, this question should have been skipped because it does not end over here, because we need to add few more things. So it says some new students join the morning and afternoon shifts in the ratio 3:8. Then the ratio of the number of students in the morning shift and the afternoon shift becomes 5:4. So now this number was 19. The number was this is the value of x, right? So now we will calculate the number. So 63 into 13 minus 21 and 63 into 9 plus 21. 13, 3, 39, 3 carries, and 78, 81. 819 minus 21, that is equal to 798, right? And in this case, 63 into 9 is 567 plus 21 is 588. Now it is saying that after this, some students are added in the ratio 3:8. So let us say this is 3a and 8a. This was the ratio after 9. This is the ratio 19:14, right? And after adding some students, the ratio becomes 5:4. Now what people would do in this case is they would cross multiply and solve it, right? Now think of a different way. Now it is given in 3:8. So 3:8 means 11 parts, and all these options are multiples of 11. So you need to be vigilant with the options also. So multiples of 11. Now multiples of 11 means we can split into 3:8. So multiply, this is 8 times, 9 times, 10 and 11 times. So 3 into 8 is 24, 27, 30, and this is uh, like 33, right? And second will be 64. 8 into 9 is 72, and 80 and 88. So this will be in the morning shift and this will be in the evening shift. Now if you see this value, right, now the final number has to be a multiple of 5 because it is given 5:4. Now which number when you add will make it a multiple of 5? So if you add 24, you will get something ending in 2, not a multiple of 5. Neither these things. So this you will save some time, maybe the cross multiplication time. Otherwise it's a round 3 question or a skippable question in the exam. Do not attempt such questions because you know that you have to execute a long process, right? Not just it is not a straightforward question. You have to cross multiply and get the numbers, which is again a big number, and then do it. But if you apply these kind of techniques, you can probably save some 15-20 seconds in the process. In a circle with center C and radius 6√2 centimeter, PQ and SR are two parallel chords separated by one of the diameters. So we are given that there is a circle and we have two chords PQ and RS. PQ and RS. Okay, so we are given that angle PQC is 45 degrees. C is the center. So PQC is 45 degrees, right? Now we know that the chord is perpendicular at the midpoint. Okay, the chord is perpendicular at the midpoint. So this is 90 and this is 45. So in a 45, 45, 90 triangle, these sides are equal. Now the radius is 6√2. Now remember these special triangles 45, 45, 90 and 60, 30, 90. So these are what you learn in trigonometry, right? So there are two special kind of triangles 30, 60, 90 and 45, 45, 90. So remember the property which will save you time, that the sides are in the ratio 1:1:√2 And in this case, the sides are in the ratio 1 ratio √3 ratio 2. So these are two special triangles which are often tested in CAT and other exams wherever geometry is tested. Now this is 6 √2, so it is √2 times of 6. So this side length is 6. This side length is 6, and this will also be C2. Let us say this point is K, or whatever you want to put it. This is 6. Now let us come to the part of the question that says the ratio of the perpendicular distances of PQ and SR from C is 3 ratio 2. Now C2, this distances, let us say K and L, this is 6, so C to L will be 4. Now we need to find area of the quadrilateral. Now first of all, we need to figure out what kind of quadrilateral is PQRS. So PQRS, this side is parallel, and this we do not have any idea about it. Okay, we do not have any idea whether it is parallel or not, so it is a trapezium because one of the sides is parallel. And area of trapezium is what? Half sum of parallel sides into distance between them. Now the distance is already known, 6 plus 4, 10. This distance is 10. We need to find the sum of the side. Now what we will do, we will apply a right angle triangle over here. This right angle triangle, this side is 4, this side is 6 √2. So what will be LS? So LS will be under root of 6 √2 square minus 4 square. 6 √2 is 2 into 36, 72 minus 16, which is 56. Root 56 means 4 we can take out, 4 into 14, square root of 4 is 2, so 2 √14. Okay. Now we can eliminate some of the options like this, and this can be eliminated, but still we need to see, we have to calculate, so we can proceed like this because there are two options which have √14. So anyway, we have to calculate this. So this side length is 2 √14, half part. So the complete part RS is 4 √14. So area becomes half sum of parallel sides, half PQ plus RS into distance between them. Distance between them is KL. Now this is half. PQ is 12 because K half part is 6, other part is another 6, plus 4 √14 into KL. KL is 10. Okay. Now we can take out 4 common from it. So it becomes 4 times of half, 4 into half into 10. It becomes 3 plus √14, which is 2 into 10, 20 times of 3 plus √14. So that is the area of this quadrilateral. Now if your concepts in geometry are good, you could have done this question. I would not say that it's a round 1 question. I would classify this one as a round 2 question, which you should have been able to do provided you had studied geometry well. If you find our teaching methods interesting, we have a course for CAT and movements. You can check it out. And in this, we cover the entire syllabus, and it covers concepts, basic to advanced, along with shortcuts, techniques, and all. And it also covers OMET topics for VRC and LR, so that you can prepare for all other examinations. You can also opt in for section-wise modules. Let's say if you just want to prepare for Quant or just DLR or VA, you can check it out. So this was second part, right? Keep watching for the other parts also, and you will gain useful insights as to how to solve these questions in the examination.